Hello and welcome to the Enlight Photo Show, the show that's all about your photo life. However you love shooting your photos, then stick around because this is the show for you. So in every episode of the Enlight Photo Show, we bring you a fast and easy smartphone photo tip to transform your photography. And you know what? It works with anything that you're shooting with, right up to a big SLR, medium format, compact, whatever. So let's hit the cafe. Aha, hello, hello. So, I'll grab 2 meatloaf sandwiches, please. Yeah, thank you very much. So, a really quick and simple tip to make your photography way better, works brilliantly with your phone or any other camera that you're shooting is this: get closer. You know when you turn up somewhere and you think, I really want to photograph this, and you lift your camera up and you shoot it, and then that's it, you put it in your pocket and you get one photo, maybe two, kind of a general view. It's known in pro photo circles as a GV. Well, don't stop there, get closer. If you're photographing people, well, they never really mind if you get in their faces. You can ask them, and I've never had anyone turn me down. Just say, hey, do you mind if I just get in your face a little bit and take some photos? The other thing that you're often left with is some just really cool textures and things that people always miss. The photos that you take may not all be the best, and in that case, just, hey, delete the ones that don't work, but I guarantee you'll get tons of really cool photos that you have always overlooked before. Give it a try, get closer. It's dead easy, watch me do it. Next time you're shooting anything, remember that really cool, simple tip: get closer. It's easy to overlook, easy to forget, but it'll transform the way your photos look. It's one of my favorites. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, pro photographer Ashley Bordup phoned me up. He was due to shoot an amazing collection of racing Ferraris, and he called me because he was going to be doing it using some of my gear, ioShutter for SLR. So I joined him, I filmed his shoot, and took some really cool time-lapse as well, so that you can see really easily exactly how he gets his stunning results. So let's jump into Ashley's Ferrari photo shoot.
Well, we're here to shoot this Ferrari F430C. It's been race prepared, and it's ready to go in next year's 2013 Pirelli Ferrari Open Series. So here to shoot some shots for the owners, and to cover that for one of my clients as well, which is Thornley Kellum, who's done some work on various cars, to shoot a Daytona as well, which is also owned by the same person that will be racing in the Ferrari Classic this year.
So tell me a little bit about how you how are you going to shoot these?
Okay, well we're in a busy workshop environment, so it's a very noisy background, but what there is a very nice shiny smooth floor. We're trying to create a very dramatic effect, so effectively put the cars in a pool of light, using some powerful lights to overcome ambient, and create a bit of drama that gives a nice sort of set piece to show the car ready for its next season. Something that's dramatic, a bit of sparkle, and really sort of isolated from its background. That's the plan today.
What are you going to be triggering your camera with?
Well, it's a difficult challenge. Wireless is an option. One of the things I've found that I spend a lot of time running backwards and forwards from the camera to the lighting rig, and whilst moving the lighting rig I need to have hands free. So what I've found is that the ioShutter is a perfect opportunity to use some sound triggered signals, allowing me to sort of move the rig along the car, giving sound signals to trigger it, and I find it just works absolutely flawlessly. Amazingly responsive actually in a large open space. Will work absolutely perfectly.
So tell me a little bit about what are those sound signals that you're using?
Well, really voice commands, any percussive sound that stands out from the background. A shout, a clap, a stamp of your foot on the floor, whatever you want to do to trigger it, to get it over any ambient background noise, triggers the camera when you need it. It frees your hands up to do what you need, and I found it a real time saver today.
Amazing photos, right? Now, don't go anywhere, because later in the show we're going to be joined by pro photographer Dave Kai Piper. We're going to take a closer look at some of those incredible photos that you just saw Ashley shooting, and I'm going to tell you how you could shoot just the same kind of photos on pretty much a shoestring budget using nothing more than a good camera, a speedlight flash, and a copy of Photoshop. You'll be amazed. Anyway, I don't know what you think of trade shows, but I often find they're a little bit samey. What I mean is, like, once you're inside, you could be anywhere in the world. Once you've taken a walk around and you've checked out the cool gear, what else is there to do? What would it look like if you joined hundreds of photographers in a cool basement warehouse somewhere with an awesome live DJ, tons of cool gear to try out, and amazing stuff to photograph? It would look like the basement sessions. We've already done it. There are going to be more. Check it out.
Yeah, as we step forth into the future, sticks, man. It's the Red Queen with a yo, it's skits on the rhythm. Yo, skits on the rhythm. Man, I flow so sick, your shit's coarse like bitumen. War when I bring it in, war when I bring it in. So sick that I think that it's more like crippling. Want the spit, everyday flows, of which I bring. Suckers right down to the knees for not listening. God forbid I am a fool for your shit. I'm a draw for the action, leave your gash with a missing list. Little breaks when I talk the big talk. Walk the big walk and at the big shots. So when it does come to shots and pick locks, this shit's not ready, they can get the prop. Listen, I ain't in it for the thrills, a small door, but the way that I'm living my life is like a mission. And I'm heading for the top, so watch. I'll be living swish while you're heading for the mission. And this ain't a lie, boy, this ain't the place and it ain't the time. You could even stay inside, you probably still find them in your ways to die. So look, everybody's born with a choice, so it's on you what you do with your voice. It's on you if you're moving the crew for the toys. Get stand gun, separate the men from the boys. That new start, I was too dark for the school dog, moving too fast. I was used to a few scars and a few spars, who reduced from a few blocks. With a few bars in pursuit of a new car. Too stark, living like we know no future. Life's nothing when we know no truth. So I pray to the gods for the youth now. The requiem, Rob, let me enter the booth.
So as you know, the Enlight Photo Show is all about your photo life, and that means we want to hear from you. More specifically, we want to see what you've got. Now, I'm sure you've noticed, but we link some of the scenes and the sections of the Enlight Photo Show with some really cool little flashes of time-lapse, and we would love to see your time-lapse. It's really easy to shoot. You can find out how to shoot it on the Enlight Photo Show. You need a good tripod, a time-lapse tool like ioShutter that we've told you all about, and you're going to find out more about later, and just get shooting. It doesn't matter what you're actually shooting it with. Now, if you visit enlightphotopro.com and click the link for the show, you can download our resources pack, which is going to show you and walk you through everything that you need to know about shooting time lapses. From there, you can find out how you can send it in to us and see your time lapses featured on the Enlight Photo Show. It's all about your photo life, which is our photo life. Let's make it happen. So we saw earlier how pro photographer Ashley Border got those amazing photos of that racing spec Ferrari. But it's probably about time that we told you a little bit about how it was done, because you probably noticed he was only using one light. It's amazing that you don't actually need a hell of a lot of gear. So I'm joined by my friend pro photographer Dave Kai Piper here. We've got some gear that Ashley was using and that you can use to get similar effects. Dave, tell us what's going on. He's got one light. How does he get that amazing effect?
So Ashley is employing a technique basically of comping different images together. So he's taking a series of images and he's stacking them together, and basically that's how he's getting these beautiful light setups. So he's taking a picture of the wheel arch and he's perfectly lighting that wheel arch, and then he's taking a picture of the real wheel arch and he's perfectly lighting that, and then he's stitching the two together so he has perfect lighting on both wheel arches through a series of images. This is how he builds up his beautiful stunning images. Cool, so we've got to look at some more photos taken by him. Yes. So this was shot at the end of the photo shoot where he did the same thing with two cars, and this is in the middle of a busy workshop, walking around these cars, lighting little sections of them and then stacking it up. It's amazing. And I think, Dave, this one here is one of your favourites, right? Yes, this is a Lancer Delta Integrale. I'd love to find out off Ashley how many images he used to comp this together. He has beautiful tones on these lovely white doors, and it looks like it's a very technically well lit shot. We shouldn't take anything away from Ashley. He's using a very simple setup, but he's executing it absolutely perfectly.
And the thing to remember is you don't have to always be doing it to the nth degree with your top studio gear, right? Because I've done this myself. I had to shoot a Porsche for a magazine. I had very, very short notice to shoot it and very, very low budget. I did the same technique. I used it with a speed light. Now, we should probably mention there are 5 really important, like the 5 ingredients that you need, and you've probably already got some or if not all of them. You need a good camera, you need a good tripod, you need a reliable shutter release system, and you need you need a flash.
Some way to sync your flashes, something like something like a pocket wizard.
You need a flash, and you need some way to sync the two, so that when you take the photo, the flash fires. Probably best wirelessly, because you're generally standing about 10 meters, about 20 feet away. With the Nikons and some of the Canons or Nikons, it could even be the inbuilt CLS system or a radio slave.
So just for people to be clear, you're talking about a way that the flash can sync with the camera, but then you also need something in order to trigger the camera, so you don't have to keep on coming back and pressing this button. So with your speed lights, you just put the camera on a tripod and you just...
Exactly, yeah. You've got to have the camera locked on the tripod. That's really important. It can't move. Now, you could fire your camera with, radio triggers, or you could use ioShutter, one of my inventions, which is actually a shutter release cable, pretty much standard as you'd know it. Most of the time you're using it, you press the button, the camera goes, but you could use it. You can use the sound trigger, or the other thing you could do is you could do like a time-lapse, so it's taking a photo every 10 seconds, and you light the wheel arch, you move along a little bit, you light the side of the car, you move along a little bit, so you could do it like that as well.
I really love the idea how Ashley used it. He used the sound command, so he was take, and it would fire the picture. I think it's a brilliant thing, and probably a way that people haven't really thought about using a sound trigger for your camera.
Exactly.
I think it's absolutely phenomenal.
So I don't know if you've noticed, but the more photos you take, the better they become, right? And it's because, without realizing it, you're honing your technique. At the core of great photos is technique. And one of the best ways that you can hone your technique, apart from taking photos, is in surrounding yourself with beautiful images, beautiful photos from books, from magazines, in films. And we've got a couple of great ones to tell you about today. The first one is the Magnum, one of the many Magnum photo books, but this is my favourite. Even before you've opened it, it looks stunning. I've got Naomi here. We're just going to tell you a little bit about it. Naomi, I guess we should start with what is Magnum?
Right, yes. Magnum is a cooperative of photojournalists that was formed about 60 years ago by 4 preeminent photojournalists at the time: Henry Cartier-Bresson, Robert Capa, George Rogers, and the other guy who I keep thinking of as Philip Seymour Hoffman, but it's definitely not him.
Yes, he's not a Hollywood actor.
David
Seymour.
David Seymour. And they formed Magnum as a cooperative, as I said, to own the projects that they wanted to do with their photography and own the copyright, so that they could basically really use the photography to tell the story regardless of words.
Yeah, and to get stories out that otherwise they would never have had commissioned if they were just working on their own, I think. And they've created an incredible legacy that endures today in the work of many, many photographers around the world, particularly that you can see every year in the World Press photo books and competitions and awards that we're going to cover in another episode of the Enlight Photo Show. Really incredible. Now, what kind of photos are in the book?
Right, this book actually documents pretty much the whole of the 1990s. It was a project, it's called Degrees. It was a project that Magnum did for their 50th anniversary, sparked off from events of 1989, the fall of the Berlin Wall, events at Tiananmen Square, and it really celebrates the work of all of the Magnum photographers at that time, throughout the 1990s up to the millennium.
And the amazing thing about it is it's a window into the very best and the very worst of what was happening around the world a few years ago. So there's some really challenging conflict and war photography in here. Right next to, you turn the page and there's some incredible photos of sort of real joy and happiness. It has to be seen and read to be believed. Well worth getting. It may be a few years old, but it doesn't detract from how incredible and inspirational the photos are. Now you can still get it online, and we'll show you the link to where you can get it. It doesn't have to be this book though. If you don't have the cash or you can't find it, just get out there, find some flea markets, find some secondhand bookshops or websites, and start buying photo books. Your photography will thank you for it. Now, another great way to hone your photography is to watch brilliant photography films. Films shot by photographers, about photographers, or just films featuring photographers. And we're going to tell you all about them in the Enlight Photo Show. But today, I want to talk about an amazing film that we just discovered online featuring pro photographer JoeyL from the States. What was it called again?
It's called Beyond.
Right.
Yeah, and it features this young photographer, JoeyL, who's only 23 years old, and he's on location in Varanasi, India, shooting holy men. And it basically, gives you a good look at how he works, the kind of gear he carries, and the imagery that he takes.
And it's not just a great film to watch because you get to see a real craftsman, a master photographer at work, but it's beautifully shot by cinematographer Cale Glendenning as well. Just everything about it is lovely. You have to see it. Here, look, check out the trailer.
You know, we're only here for so long. Once we get back home, it's done. And I just want to make the most out of this trip as possible. I want to have the most experiences, and I don't want to waste any time.
Death is something everyone is scared of. All the people are scared of death. So when you embrace death, welcome death, death will not come to you.
Now, I'm sure that has whetted your appetite, and here is the best bit about this. The film is free and online, right? Where is it again?
I think you can get it on Vimeo.
That's it, cool. So here's the link. Now, as I said, sit down, it's 45 minutes long, well worth enjoying at length, and I would check out the trailer before you start. It's always the best way to go before you watch a film. It really gets you excited about it. Your photography will really thank you for it. As I said, it's just brilliant. We've got one of our favourite tripods here. It's a 3-legged thing tripod. Now, this is as close as the Enlight Photo Show comes to a review. What we're not going to do, we're not going to get 5 tripods together, we're not going to spend our time thrashing them, and we're not then going to be really rude about 2 of them and tell you which one was the best one, because, quite frankly, that's just not the way we roll. We're going to talk about the gear that we know, love, and use on this show, and for us, tripods, it's got to be 3-legged thing, right? Why do you love 3-legged thing?
There's a lot of reasons why I love and trust 3-legged thing. I think trust is a good one for me. When my camera's on the tripod, I know it's not going anywhere. But I mean I shoot portraiture mainly, so having the camera on a tripod for me it's great. But what I tend to shoot more is having lights on lighting stands. So if I'm traveling and I'm out and about, I'm usually putting my speed light on top of the tripod. These tripods go to something like 2 meters. So you can get your light nice and high. I can still have the camera in my hand using like a Pocket Wizard, or if it's a Nikon, it just syncs. But sticking a speed light on the tripod, I then have a softbox on a lighting stand.
That's very true. So cool. I mean, in fact, we can show you how quick and simple that is. If I just pop the camera off.
This is another one of your little fantastic inventions, isn't it?
It is the Frio cold shoot, which is a great way to basically mount anything with a hot shoot, anything with a tripod, or now, thanks to the new Frio, anything with a light stand thread as well. Yeah. And so basically, it's super simple. What we do is we take the camera off, and where you'd normally put the camera, you pop your Frio, and then you can mount a flash, you can mount all sorts of lighting gear as well. So there you've got a really simple light stand as well, and nicely locked in there. So 3-legged thing tripods, super lightweight as well, and amazingly sturdy, beautifully built. One of the things I love is, instead of stop and go or tighten and loosen, it has lock and rock on the side, which is just completely batty, but you know, I love it. And very quick to fold up. Because unusually, instead of folding in on themselves, these tripods fold up on themselves. And so you've got something that goes up higher than 6 feet and that folds down about the same size as a bottle of mineral water.
I mean, one of the really great things I do love about these tripods is, just thinking as you were putting together, the size that they compact down to, they make perfect travel tripods. If you were shooting in the water, for example, if you're on a beach somewhere, because it's all carbon fibre, everything's modular, you can take it all apart. But you're using them in salt water, it's perfectly fine because it's carbon. It just cleans when you get back from your travels. Just rinse under water and it's fine, off you go. There really is a system behind these tripods. They are multi-use. They can go high, they can go low, you can invert them, you can use them for macro. A lot of football photographers are using them.
Cool.
They have a small, because they have these triple columns. You can kind of lift the columns up. You should check the website out. I mean, we could talk for a while about how good these tripods are.
And we have done, so it's about time, I guess, to bring this little section to a close. So the 3-legged thing, right? You can read more about them on 3leggedthing.com, and you can buy 3-legged thing tripods. They're so cool that I just put them on my website, on the Enlight Photo website, a couple of weeks ago. So if you're in the UK, gbstore.enlightphotopro.com, and you can also, of course, get ioShutter there, and in the US, pretty much everywhere around the world, enlightphotopro.com. Go check it out. So I guess really best way I can leave you is just checking out some more of those stunning car photos. So that brings us to the end of another great Enlight photo show. Thanks for joining us. When you share the show, remember #EPShow. But from Dave, Naomi and me, until we catch up again, that's all for now. Remember, it's all about your photo life.
I can't.